I realised that economics is basically the ecology of money. I started to see that it's all about how the different people are like the different species in an ecosystem, and how the different actors, different organisations within a system relate to each other, and how those resources are shared out in that ecosystem, in that society. A lot of that is determined by the rules around how money works. What humans have done is create a set of rules which are more abstract, and how money and how banking works and the rules around that are very powerful in determining the way that resources are divided up or shared within a society.
Who is we?
Well, it started with just myself and one other guy who came to this meeting that I held. And between us, we thought it was actually his idea. A guy called Chris Sunderland said, well, could we have a Bristol pound? And then it kicked off from there. We thought, well, I wonder what that would really, really mean. Yeah, so Bristol pounds come into existence through swapping with sterling.
Yeah.
And you can, in fact, just swap them back. It's a voluntary system that's dependent on the commitment of the people in it, who see the value in starting to build a more localised or more regional sustainable economy, and how that is actually good for community as well as good for business. The reason that even such a small change in the system has a profound effect over time is that once they're converted into Bristol pounds, they tend to stay in Bristol pounds. So we've converted since September, about 200,000 pounds of sterling have gone into Bristol pounds, and about 30,000 of those have been changed back into sterling. The rest is staying in Bristol pounds. So all that, every time every one of those pounds is spent, we can guarantee that it will have been spent again with another independent business owned in the area. Now that is a big shift in the probability of that pound being spent with a multinational or a big business who maybe would take it offshore or pay out shareholders, or any of those things that take money out of the community. That's now much less likely. So it has and over time we can build up the supply of Bristol pounds in the region, which will favour the locally owned businesses. They tend to be smaller businesses, obviously, than multinationals. They have a more equitable pay structure, typically, so money is shared out between all the people who work in those kinds of companies better. And over time, you start to steer the economy into a very different kind of economy with different kinds of businesses in it. Just the idea of having a different kind of money started to change how people felt, and they started thinking about where they would actually spend their money in the future.
They were more conscious about...
Yeah, they're just more conscious. Oh, if we had a Bristol pound, that would mean maybe I should source more locally then. And then, so before we even launched, some of the businesses that were thinking of joining said, change their suppliers in advance of the currency actually running. Once we got close to having finished that development process, then the Bank of England wanted to talk to us about it. And I think they maybe scratched their heads and thought, is it okay? Yeah, and they thought about it, and the way we structured it, because it's very conservative, in many ways it's sterling rebadged as a kind of a local voucher, really. And the online accounts are denominated, they've got a different name, but effectively they're sterling. How we managed to persuade the local government to get involved, and including accepting taxes, they're doing more than just accepting this as a way to pay taxes. They're agreeing to spend it as well, and that's really, really important.
Or else it would end.
Yeah, so you need to keep that virtuous circle going. The reason they agreed, I think, in the end, was because we'd done a lot of consultation with businesses in the area. And they have a big focus on the local economy and what's good for the local economy. We did survey work with around 100 or so businesses, and we showed the results of that survey to the local authority, which said if there was a local currency, what would they want it to be like, and would they take part if we did it like that? And we had mostly a positive response from local businesses. Then they were saying, okay, if they want it, then we'll take part. So I think it was an easy thing to say yes to because we'd done that consultation. It wasn't just a nice idea. It was something that had been developed in consultation with businesses in the region.